is despicable.
Хей, всем привет! Добро пожаловать на канал Darkness Crowd! Наконец-то мы добрались с вами до Вест-Энда. Можно здесь немного побродить и осмотреться. Вау. Это самый богатый квартал Лондона. О, привет, бро. Что тут в урне у тебя? Орленок. Hello?
We meet again, Mr. Kimura.
А, я его спасал от вампира того страшного.
Reid, still visiting London by night?
We must both be nocturnal animals, you and I. After your captivity, I thought you'd be more cautious.
Breathing the cold night air helps calm my mind, sir. I've had the most frightening nightmares since I escaped that filthy jail.
Его зовут Кимура Тадао. Чем вы занимаетесь?
May I ask you what you do for a living, Mr. Kimura?
I was a landlord. A wealthy one. And not a very kind one, I realized recently.
Why this sudden epiphany? Is it because of your near-death experience?
I was already feeling nostalgic about Weymouth, my hometown. With recent events, I'm thinking about going back there.
Сказка. Тадао – богатый домовладелец, тоскующий по родному городу. Еще один домовладелец – это очень популярный бизнес. Сведения о районе.
How is the situation in the West End?
I've heard rumors about armed men patrolling and fighting infected citizens in these very streets. I was lucky they didn't shoot me when I was abducted.
Как вас похитили, Кимура?
What can you tell me about your abduction?
If you really want to know, I was locked in that building for 3 or 4 days. My jailer was insane, mumbling about sacrifice and voices.
Почему же он медлил с жертвоприношением?
And why didn't he sacrifice you?
That was the weirdest part. He claimed to spill blood was not enough. It had to be done when some stars were aligned.
Which stars?
That's the whole point. He wanted me to talk to him about some Red Queen configuration or constellation.
А вот это уже интересно.
Heard of such an astronomical term?
Вампир похитил Тадао, воспользовавшись его страстью к астрономии. Я уже не в первый раз слышу о Красной Королеве, это что-то интересное. Что он говорил насчет голосов?
What did he say about voices?
He constantly whined about the voice of his master, ordering him to do terrible things. He wanted to silence the voice by offering blood. My blood.
Скучаете по родному городу, Кимура?
Why are you so nostalgic for your hometown, Tadao?
I was focused so much on making money, I almost forgot that my relatives and friends are threatened by this epidemic.
А как же ваша семья?
Have you heard anything from your family?
I was not only a bad landlord, I was also a bad husband. I've not seen my wife and son for years. Busy, busy, busy.
At least now you're ready to go back and see them. But don't be surprised if your son bears a grudge, sir.
You make it sound like you suffered from an absent father yourself, Dr. Reid. Well, I'll keep your warning in mind.
Тадао бросил свою семью и уже много лет не видел сына. У вас нет друзей?
Have you no friends at all?
Over the years, I'm afraid my greed turned me into my friend's adversary, while I became friends with my professional rivals.
Those you grew up with didn't share your views on money and success.
Would you believe I was once a member of poetry circles and an astronomy club? We were young, such joyful dreamers then. But I stopped laughing long ago.
Вы вправду изменитесь?
Can you change? And is it what you really want? If so, it must come from within, not without.
I've seen what an altruistic gesture can do. Nothing forced you to save me, Dr. Reid, but you did. I will follow your example in these matters from now on.
Да, следуйте моему примеру.
Follow my example then. Find a complete stranger and help him or her the best you can. Then invite him or her to do the same.
You know what? That's not a bad plan, actually. And I should start with my family. but they are almost strangers to me now.
Сказал человеку хорошую реплику, которая двинет его как бы на какие-то благие дела, и я потерял подсказку. Черт возьми, как же в этой игре все сложно. Вы знаете слоган этой игры? Будь проклят выбор. Да, будь проклят выбор. Выберешь не то и все. Окей. Прощай, друг.
Goodbye, Mr. Kimura. Take care.
Что тут у нас? Листовка с предупреждением. Вест-эндцы, объединяйтесь. Не дайте себя обмануть, не дайте контролировать вас. Они среди нас. Они мечтают сожрать вашу душу. Вампиры существуют. Защищайте свой квартал. Это публичное заявление финансируется и распространяется мистером Кросли. Чтобы узнать больше, обратитесь к нему лично и посетите его следующую открытую лекцию. Vampyrs are real. О, Кларенс Кросли. Верит, что Лондон наводнили вампиры. Черт возьми, он прав. Как ты узнал? Как ты узнал? О, это ты? Это ты?
Good evening, sir. May I have your attention, please?
Come on, Johnny. Don't you recognize your oldest friend?
Clarence. Clarence Crossley. How are you?
Так я его еще и знаю.
So you survived the war too. So sorry I didn't recognize you at first.
I almost didn't recognize you either. War does that to men, I heard. In my case, it was true, for I witnessed the horror that lies underneath.
Вот он, Кларенс Кросли, я давно его ищу, так как видел везде его листовки по всему городу. Когда ты вернулся в Лондон?
When did you escape the war and return to London?
You know what's funny? I almost never think about the war. Not anymore. I'm involved in another kind of battle now.
Я тоже не думаю о войне.
I know what you mean. I haven't had much time to think about the war either since my return.
Of course. With the epidemic, I bet you've been busy as well.
Точно. Что это за новая битва?
What is this new battle?
I saw terrible things during the war. Horrors I thought I'd forget. They're here too. They're everywhere. Vampires.
Vampyrs. А чего ты тогда не в Стражах Привена? Ты раздаешь листовки о вампирах?
Clarence, why have you distributed leaflets about vampires all across the West End?
I have to warn everybody about them. They've killed thousands of people already, unnoticed thanks to the epidemic. We are all in danger here.
Vampires in London? Come on, Clarence. Who's going to believe that?
I'm not mad, Jonathan. You have to believe me. I know they are real. They're all around us, even as we speak.
Черт возьми, как он узнал. Ну что ж, Кларенс, я верю тебе.
Clarence, you've always been a reliable and a good friend to me. If you say you saw a vampire, then I believe you.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you for your trust. You don't know what that means to me.
It's all right. But if you want my help, you have to explain exactly what happened.
The first time it was in Rouen. I saw an officer drink the blood of a soldier. I saw its teeth, saw it bite. It was a vampire, Johnny, and they're here too.
Подсказка. О, ты болен мигренью, бро. Надо тебя вылечить. Кларенс видел вампира, убивающего жертву, когда служил во Франции. Давай-ка тебя сразу вылечим, бро.
Do you need medical assistance, Clarence?
It's a little late for visiting hours, don't you think?
Дать лекарства.
What can I say? I haven't lost my old habits.
I hope we're talking about the same habits, old friend.
Что ж, продолжим. Что ты узнал о вампирах, Кларенс?
Tell me what you have discovered about vampires, Clarence.
They've always been here. And if you search for long enough, you realize others know about these devils too. I'm not alone.
Кто-нибудь знает о твоем исследовании?
Have you shared your research with anybody else?
No. But I've published my leaflets all across the city, hoping that someday someone will realize I'm printing the truth.
В каком смысле ты не один?
What do you mean you're not alone? Who have you met?
The Guard of Prewin, the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, Ichabod Throgmorton. Those names always pop up when you dig deep enough.
Have you spoken with any of them?
No. With the quarantine, it's almost impossible to leave the West End. But as a doctor, maybe you could, Johnny.
Are you asking me to help you prove the existence of vampires, Clarence?
Yes, Johnny. Please, gather all the information you can find about vampires and bring it to me. You're the only friend I have left. I need you.
Новое расследование не среди нас. Бро, вампир перед тобой. Я живое доказательство существования вампиров. Но какого вампира видел ты?
Clarence, tell me about the vampire you saw in France.
I was enjoying my leave in Rouen. I left the bar, took a shortcut back to the barracks. I saw it in a back alley. An officer in a stained uniform biting into a soldier's neck.
Ты был пьян?
But you were drunk, weren't you? Are you sure these two men were not just kissing?
Please don't insult me, Johnny. I hid, and I saw him leave. Then I saw the body, drained of all blood. I've seen the same marks here in London since I've returned.
Ты больше не видел того офицера?
Did you ever see that officer again?
No. Or the uniform of the Royal Warwickshire Regiment. I did some research, but found no trace of him. He probably stole it from a previous victim.
Возможно, ты прав. Как поживает твоя жена, Кларенс?
How is your wife, Venus?
We've spent so much time away from each other, and so many things have happened.
Главное, что ты жив.
But you're alive. You returned in one piece and you have a family. How many soldiers can say the same?
Believe me, it's not quite that simple. Unlike you, I'm not the man I used to be.
Дома не все гладко у тебя, Кларенс.
Is everything all right at home? Surely Venus was relieved to see you return from France in one piece.
Have you forgot what people are like in this part of town, Johnny? Venus fears for our family reputation. Now her husband has become the village idiot.
Подсказка: Венера Кросли. Это его жена, и она чрезвычайно беспокоится за репутацию семьи. Наверное, потому что все мужа ее считают сумасшедшим. Этот человек, Кларенс, мой старый знакомый, и он дал мне квест. Нужно было найти для него документы, какие-то доказательства существования вампиров. Но так оказалось, что я, похоже, их уже нашел, по крайней мере, некоторые, надеюсь. Так как собирал всякие статьи о вампирах, давайте ему их сразу отдадим. Друг мой, вот документы, которые вы искали.
These are the documents you wanted me to look for. I think I've gathered all the available occult research about vampires.
Oh, thank you, Johnny. That'll help me separate the myths from the facts.
I'm not sure you can consider this material factual, but it's yours now. What do you intend to do with it?
First, I'm going to show them to Venus. It'll open her eyes and make her understand the importance of my mission.
Вот расследование завершено. Как это было просто. Я получу за это сколько-то опыта. Прощай, друг.
You need some rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
625 опыта мы получили за это. Отлично. Не зря я собирал все вот эти вот листовки. Что ж, они ему пригодились. Здорово. Свинцовый пруд. Мне нравится музыка здесь, классная. В этом квартале. Что у нас тут написано? Ladies Tailor. Магазин одежды. О, привет! Это та девчуля, которую мы спасли в канализации.
How have you been since you returned home?
Dr. Reid. Oh, thank God you returned safely from these awful streets. I was so worried about my father that I left without thanking you properly.
Please don't mention it, miss.
Good. I found him, you know. My dad. Or what was left of him. I think my abductor intended to do the same thing to me.
Вампир не хотел тебя убить, он хотел жениться на тебе. Какие же у нее синяки, конечно, под глазами. Она сама на вампира похожа. Чем вы зарабатываете на жизнь?
What do you do for a living, Miss Teasdale?
Before my kidnapping, I was a waitress in a pub. Now I'm unemployed.
Were you fired?
No. It's just that after my recent experience, I don't feel like I can go back to my normal life. I need to do something useful.
Будьте осторожнее со словами.
Be very careful, Miss Teasdale. You were lucky to escape death once, but vampires lurk everywhere.
You killed my kidnapper by yourself, didn't you? No offense, Doctor, but you're just a doctor. I don't see why I couldn't do the same.
Так что она хочет стать охотником на вампиров? Вам нужно жить дальше, Луиза.
What do you intend to do?
Dad always told me, Louise, if you want something, don't stop until you have it. I did my research and I found it.
Oh.
Ichabod Throgmorton, professional vampire hunter. I'll be his apprentice.
О, у Ichabода Трагмортона появится своя ученица. Интересно. Отличная пара будет.
What can you tell me about this area?
I've never really liked this part of town. It was where my father wanted to live. I won't remain here much longer.
What exactly don't you like about it?
People here are contemptuous and elitist. My dad always said, Louise, always treat people like you want them to treat you.
Давайте спросим Луизу о похитителе.
Louise, what can you tell me about the vampire who captured you?
The little fucker claimed he'd fallen in love with me. That he wanted to spend eternity with me. Not a bad idea. At least that's the way it seemed at first.
Really? Did you consider accepting his proposal?
Well, immortality. Not a common wedding gift, is it? I think he just wanted to have his way with me. Can vampires even fuck, Doctor?
What? Well, I really can't answer that. Since they are creatures of blood, physically speaking, I suppose an erection is possible, but
Don't be embarrassed, Dr. Reid. I was just asking.
Да уж, интересно. О жертве, на которую пошел ее отец.
Louise, tell me what you really think about your father's sacrifice to save you.
I'm proud he went after me. I forgive him all his harsh words, all his bloody attitudes. I only wish I could tell him how much I loved him.
Yes. It can be traumatic, not having the chance to say goodbye to those we love.
Yes, Doctor. And there's no treatment for that type of pain, isn't that right? That may be the last thing my father taught me.
О любви к отцу.
You seem to cherish your father a great deal.
Dad was the best. He kept an eye on me, but let me make my own mistakes. Louise used to say, mistakes are the best teacher. You would have liked him.
I'm sorry you didn't have the opportunity to say goodbye.
That's all right. He's buried in consecrated ground now. Nothing bad can happen to him.
Одна подсказка недоступна. Кстати, она больна. У нее головная боль. 30% ухудшение качества крови. Давайте вылечим девчулю.
Do you need my medical attention, miss?
I don't need your help specifically. I can assure you there are many competent doctors around.
Дать лекарства.
I have no doubt about it, but I'm offering you my help anyway.
All right then. But please leave me alone for now.
Как скажешь.
Goodbye, Miss Teasdale, and be careful. Until we meet again.
Hello, sir.
Good evening, sir. Please forgive me for disturbing you. I'm a doctor.
I never judge a man by his title, but by his attitude. And you are not disturbing me at all. I am Calhoun Russell, and I welcome you.
Well, I must admit it's good to receive a warm welcome for once. I'm Jonathan Reid.
Welcome, Dr. Reid. Welcome to my humble shop.
О, это торговец. Calhoun Russell. Сведения о районе.
How is the situation in this part of town?
Life is good and peaceful. We're lucky to live in such an era of progress and wonders.
Are you not concerned about the epidemic?
Oh, I'm sure the authorities would take the appropriate measure if the danger were that high.
Ну, вообще-то это не так.
I'm afraid the newspapers are seriously underestimating the situation. Things are critical, believe me.
Well, that's news then. But I can't believe that things are that bad. Are you sure you're not exaggerating a bit? For the thrill of it?
Подсказочка. Calhoun не замечает серьезности и опасности эпидемии. Ну, конечно, когда ты занят своей работой и торгуешь на рынке, ты ничего не замечаешь. Не поздновато ли для торговли, друг мой?
Is it not a little too late to be trading?
On the contrary, it is the perfect hour. Believe me, my friend, it is always at night that you meet the most fascinating characters.
Это точно. Но разве это не опасно?
But what about the epidemic? The bombs and raids. And all the random violence.
Please, sir, this is London, England. We will prevail. And if a bomb must fall on my shop, then I'll be there to hear it falling.
Предпочитаете ночную жизнь?
So you prefer to work at night?
Oh, I also enjoy a sunny day like everybody else. But the night always has a certain je ne sais quoi of its own.
Точняк. Мне тоже нравится ночью гулять. Есть ли какие-то любопытные новости?
What can you tell me about this place?
I recently found the best steak and kidney pie in the city. I'd be glad to share the address if you want.
Мои вкусы специфичные, ты не поймешь.
I must confess, I have quite specific tastes when it comes to nutrition.
Really? Well, I'm always happy to try new exotic meals. If you ever find an intriguing table, please share the address.
Новое расследование. Сюрприз для одинокого лондонского гурмана. Набрали сегодня квестов. Но, Калхун, кажется, вас интересует лишь еда.
Finding a good restaurant. Is that really all that interests you?
Oh, I have many passions, but nothing brings me ecstasy like subtle and exquisite flavors from my teeth to my belly.
Подсказочка. Калхун любит хорошие рестораны и изысканную кухню. А кто не любит? Калхун, расскажи мне о своих родных в Лондоне.
Do you have any family nearby?
Not since my parents died. I'm London's lone gourmet.
Вам одиноко?
Really? But you seem to be such a pleasant and sociable fellow.
I'm afraid the real hedonist has to be sometimes. I discovered ecstasy as a solitary pleasure, but it does not mean it can't ever be shared.
Одинокий лондонский гурман.
London's lone gourmet. What a strange title.
I used that name in my early years when I was a food critic, and I kept it.
Значит, ты был ресторанным критиком, прикольно. Ну и чем ты торгуешь, тоже едой?
I may have a look at your goods, Mr. Russell.
Да нет, тут вполне приемлемые всякие ингредиенты и для оружия предметы. Окей. О, можно зайти в магазин? Прикольно. Но, к сожалению, сейф закрыт.
It's locked, all right.
It's locked.
Where shall I eat tonight?
Эх, жалко. Hello?
Good evening, miss.
Oh my god, no.
Oh.
Please, Mr. Vampire, don't kill me. Please, no. I'm too young to die. I still have so much to offer this world.
Wait, no. Why do you think I would...
Oh my god.
What?
Don't worry, Dr. Reid. I know you wouldn't harm me. Mother told me you were in this part of town and might drop by.
Your mother?
My name is Charlotte, sir. Charlotte Ashbury. My mother taught me long ago how to recognize the signs that betray a vampire.
I understand she also taught you how to tease and gently mock innocent young Ekons. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Charlotte.
Эта девушка дочь леди Эшбери. Давайте с ней немного поболтаем, это интересно. Сведения о районе.
What do you think about this part of town?
I was raised here and I suppose it feels like home. You grew up in this part of town too, did you not?
Да, правда, я родился здесь.
Yes, I was born a few streets away.
A small world, is it not? Did you ever imagine that my mother was your neighbor all that time? That you could have met her in a dark alley at night?
You won't trick me twice, lady. We both know Lady Ashbury never hunts or attacks prey at random.
Come on, Doctor. Don't tell me you never thought about that possibility. Her fangs on your neck. Oh, are you blushing, Dr. Reid?
Шарлотта, вас явно что-то беспокоит.
Is there something that's bothering you?
Too much selfishness and individualism for my taste. Even when there was no epidemic.
Even if that's partly true, may I remind you that many charitable institutions are financed by the selfish and filthy rich.
I suppose you're right. But society must reform and renew itself, or we are all done for.
Чем вы занимаетесь, Шарлотта?
What are you doing out here?
You mean, what do I do outside at night, since I am a woman? Let me ask you a question, sir. Would you ask the same question of a man?
Actually, yes. I ask the same question to everyone who dares to go outside at night, considering the risks.
Well, if you must know, I campaign for the right to vote for all women. Why should I wait to the age of 30 years when men can vote at 21?
Вы суфражистка?
Are you a suffragette then? Oh, you really are Elizabeth's girl. Without a doubt.
All adult women have the right to vote in the US, in New Zealand, and in Australia. But women here can't vote unless they are property owners.
No need to convince me, Miss Charlotte. I have shared your opinion for a long time. Even before I met Emmeline Pankhurst.
Really? Oh. Now I see why my mother appreciates you so much. Too bad there aren't more men like you in the vicinity.
Как реагируют местные на это?
How are the locals reacting to your claims?
People here can't wait for a wall to be built to isolate the West End from the rest of town. That's how progressive they are. If this happens, Emily and I will blow it up.
Explosives are very dangerous, young lady. And who is this Emily?
She is my best friend, and a suffragette too. She was supposed to campaign with me tonight, but hasn't turned up.
Have you any reason to be worried about her?
Recently, Emily started to believe in... well, she got interested in vampires. I'm afraid she might be in trouble.
Let me guess. You spoke to her about us, didn't you? Despite your mother's warning. I think I should try to find your friend.
Oh, that would be top-notch. I can tell you where she might have gone. You have my thanks, Dr. Reid. And please, don't tell my mother.
Новое расследование. Эмили пропала. У Шарлотты пропала подруга, и нам дали квест ее поискать. Расскажите, как вас удочерили?
Tell me about your adoption.
What do you want to know?
Кто ваши настоящие родители?
Who are your real parents?
Elizabeth Ashbury is my real mother. She raised me and has taken care of me all my life. I have no idea who my progenitors are or were.
Do you live with her?
I still spend a lot of time in my mother's mansion, but I have my own house now. I have a life to live, you see. And one day, I'll have my death to face.
Как вы встретились с леди Эшбери?
How did you meet Lady Ashbury?
First, I was an orphan in the institution for girls she manages in the West End. When I was 10, she adopted me, and I have lived with her ever since.
Did you know she was a vampire when she picked you?
The correct word is Ekon, Doctor. And no, I had no idea why my mother only showed up at night. She told me everything when I turned 16, though I suspected the truth for a long time before that.
Шарлотта росла в приюте леди Эшбери, прежде чем та ее удочерила. Что вам известно обо мне?
What exactly has your mother told you about me?
Your name and profession, obviously, and the mystery about your maker. I'm sorry to hear about what happened to your sister, sir. Mother says it was not your fault.
Does it not scare you to know what I am? What your mother is?
Why should it? My mother is the most compassionate woman. Must I be wary of her, Dr. Reid? Or you?
Подсказка. Шарлотта много знает о вампирах и, похоже, совсем не боится их. Нет.
Of course not. You have nothing to fear from me or your mother.
Good to know. And don't worry, my mother told me everything I need to know about vampire tricks, their nature as well as features.
Your mother is not like any other vampire I've met.
I believe she thinks the same about you, Dr. Reid.
Почему леди Эшбери вас удочерила?
Do you know why Lady Ashbury chose you to become her daughter?
No, I don't. Each time I ask her that question, she smiles and says it's precisely because I dare to ask such questions.
Do you ever regret that she chose you?
Of course not. Though I often wonder if she adopted others before me. If so, where are they buried? How was it for them to pass through life with a never-aging mother?
Почему вы хотите стать вампиром?
Why do you still hope to become a vampire in spite of your mother's refusal?
It's the immortal aspect of vampires that interests me. The world won't improve unless women take charge. I'm convinced of that.
You're obviously a clever woman with a good education and a brilliant future. But have you thought about the price you'd have to pay? The loneliness, the necessary masquerade.
Is it not true of every high position? To change this world and make it a better place, one needs time on one's side.
Шарлотта надеется, что бессмертие станет хорошим подспорьем для ее дальнейшей борьбы за равенство. Может быть. Почему мать отказалась обратить вас?
Your mother has refused to turn you into a vampire. Tell me more about it.
Each time we argue, Mother expresses the same fear. She wants me to remain alive and full of joy, rather than become melancholy and immortal. She claims you can't have one without the other. It's pure selfishness.
Таков ее выбор.
It's your mother's choice. As daughters and sons, we have to accept the decisions our parents make for us despite our own wishes.
I love my mother, and have accepted everything from her. Even that she named me Charlotte, when it was not my original name.
Does it bother you?
No. Whoever I was when I was born, I am now Charlotte Ashbury. It hurts as much as it makes me proud to know that's the name my mother will read on my tombstone.
Вы должны ей верить.
Your mother has walked this earth for much longer than you or I. She is wise, and we should not ignore her advice when we disagree with it.
But why shouldn't I be allowed to forge my own experience? There can't be only one righteous way to deal with eternity.
Как вы хотите достичь бессмертия?
Tell me, Charlotte, how do you plan to achieve eternal life, since you've obviously given it a lot of thought?
I won't give up. You have no idea how determined I am, sir. I may contract a deadly disease. I may throw myself under a carriage, just to be saved by her sweet kiss.
That's a disturbing answer, young lady. And the worst part of it is, I know you speak the truth.
There are less dangerous ways, Doctor. Instead of throwing myself under a horse like Emily Davison, I could just throw myself into your arms.
Ни за что.
Never. That would be betraying your mother's trust. She would never forgive us.
For sure. But look on the bright side. We would have eternity to reconcile.
Or an eternity to run away from your mother's mighty wrath. Quite a terrifying idea, don't you think?
Yes. I think it's wiser to let go of that part of the plan.
Окей. Прощайте.
Goodbye, Charlotte. Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
Ну а на сегодня мы с вами заканчиваем. Ставь свой крутой лайк, если тебе понравилось видео. Не забудь подписаться на мой канал, просто кликни на корону, а также жми колокольчик, чтобы не пропустить следующее видео. Вы все очень классные, оставайтесь такими же.